Hey guys, it's Turek, and today I'm going to be doing a chapter review of 1117 of One Piece. I hope you had a nice break from this as much as I did, but also at the same time, if you like me, I'm sure you've been on the edge, hoping to find out more about what's happening. And unfortunately, spoilers, we don't get as much in here as we did in the last 2 or 3 chapters. Uh, I think Oda is going to be holding off now in order to progress the story of the Egghead arc in the present point here. So what we did learn about a lot of was in 1000, I think it was 1115. That's where he brought up mostly about the idea that the world's going to flood. Right? Let's see. That was the flooding part, right? And right, what do I have it in 14? Uh, oh yeah, and in 14 he started talking about a war between Joy Boy and the world government, and then in 15 he went on about the how the water had raised 200 meters and that there was a world below that's been hidden from our sight there, and no one goes down there. Like we have Cricket, the descendant of Mount Noland. What's his the first last name? Noland. Oh, what was his name? Uh, Nolan. Yeah, Nolan was his name. Mont Blanc is their last name. Okay, or their last middle. he he's diving down there, trying to find out what's going on. And he was just looking for a treasure related with Jaya. And that's something interesting now too. that I wonder if Jaya was a um civilization that was one of the something that existed in parallel with during the events of the war that happened during what we call the Void Century now, or if it came afterward. It probably is during that time, I'm assuming, and because we know Nolan was an explorer of 400 years ago, so during his lifetime was halfway between where we are now and and the end of the war. And that was a long enough time, that he was going around looking for interesting stuff, which is a lot of stuff you see happen here. We got people now, looking for stuff. Like there are a lot of these ships that disappeared in the 16 or 1700s, like Spanish galleons, probably carrying tons of silver that they were mining out of South America at the time. And some of those things I think have not been ever found in the Atlantic Ocean. And so I see the parallels that Oda is going for here, which is really cool. And then incorporate that kind of realism. And then the last chapter was focusing on the two parts of us finding the out. Oda revealed that the um, the Rogers crew knew about this. So that part I was a little confused on. I haven't given this enough thought, but right now I'm realizing, okay, Vegapunk's been exploring the poneglyphs, and he went to Ohara. The library of Ohara that's on Elbath. He has that stuff. I'm glad he didn't bring that. I just realized too he did very well in not making sure he didn't bring that up, so that if he brought that up, you can imagine the Gorosei would make up some kind of excuse to have a full scale invasion of Elbath as soon as this stuff was over. And the last thing too in there was that York now has finally figured out where uh, the special Denden Mushi is. It's under the protection of the Iron Giant. So we'll get into that now. So this chapter has an unusual name because it's linked to what happens at the end here. And it's just the words "mo" cut off, implying some other word. And it also continues a cover story with uh, uh, Yamato going around, and here she's talking with the cat. What's his name? Was that Nekomoshi? Nekomoshi? But I'm still not following what's going on there, so I'm just gonna get into the other chapter once. Okay, so we start. We start after. This was after the after we saw a bit about Roger, it's the reveal of Roger's crew knowing information, but we switch over to seeing some other pirates on Fola, and they're just thinking about. We just see some conversation of them saying, "Oh, if there's a world beneath the ocean, maybe there's treasure down there that we could get." And some other guy says, "You idiot! Just because there's whole civilizations down there means that there's whole world cities full of gold." No, because the only one that exists went up in the sky. And the sensible pirate continues. Anyway, that place is all 200 meters deep. You'd be seepy food by going down there and searching that far down. And then the first one continues, but we have ships now that can dive with the bubble protection. And the other one's like, but we can't afford one of those. We can't get that kind of I'm guessing to afford the someone like Rayleigh to do it. It must be costly to even do it. I think Rayleigh said he would take 3 days to coat the Sunny too. So we switched to Cricket. Actually, I brought him up because he's in here, and he's with those other his buddies, those monkeys. What were their names? Let's see. Do I have their names? No, I don't have their names here when I look up this thing. Anyways, the other two that were helping them do salvaging in the part of the Grand Line. And Cricket goes, "Oh, that's interesting. That was this is a time period even before when Nolan was around." And the other two are like, "Wow, this is an amazing story. We didn't. You can tell these guys are all like into the history stuff. Like, wow, there's stuff out there that goes that far back. And we thought Nolan's time was amazing, and obviously it was because we know Nolan was someone traveling the Grand Line, and we often think about how dangerous it was when Roger's time and when he was young, and when Brooke was first traveling there, that was still dangerous. But we had Nolan going around 350 years previously to that, searching around and making it back to his home, and which was in one of the blues. And Cricket goes on by pointing out, "Hey, maybe we should go down for a new diving expedition, and now we can go look around for this kind of stuff." And the other two are like totally on board with it. You can see them all cheering. I think there's some of their other pals are back there too. Oh, they're together on a ship. They're not even on Jaya at this moment. The captain. Wait, what? What's we covered? Okay, so we switch over to the Navy base where Kobe and the others have returned to, and they're Hamepo. You got the guy with the clay. I don't know his name. And what's her name? The girl there. She's like, "Kobe, do you think this is referring to the stuff with the Roger Pirates has to do with the One Piece?" And Kobe's like, "Maybe so, but there's just too much going on right now. I have to rest more. There's too much going on. First we had to deal with the stuff with the trying to capture warlords, and then we had to escape Follett Island." Alright, who's the capsule? Helmeppo's there. Wait, who got injured? Because they talk about another captain being resting. Who would that be? I can't remember who else was there. I know Tashigi, or Keshigi. Did she get injured? Because she was there too. They show her. I think she shows up here later too. So Kobe, though, before we leave him, he talks to the what's it? Suro's granddaughter and the other guy, and he's like, things are really. Oh, Prince, that's his name. And he says to Prince, like, things are really gonna come to a head now. Things are really gonna change with this information and what's going on Egghead. And Prince is like, "I agree. This sounds like we're gonna get some hard answers to things that been being withheld from us." We end up with Tishi's granddaughter going like, "Okay, then That just means it's our turn to step up and um like I think she's implying like, okay, when this stuff goes down, we're gonna have to step in and participate somehow. We can't be left behind. And we switched briefly to the most interesting part to me in this chapter was that we switched briefly to seeing Drake. And I don't think we've seen him at all since Wano, where he was he fighting, he helped Luffy, and at the end it was him and Hawkins were sitting together, defeated, and they were both. Oh no, I know he was helping fight the CP0, I believe, before him, and it was him fighting him, and then there was oh shit, what's his name? The ex commander. Oh, I forgot his name now. They were fighting Fight for Pole Zero. Well, he was fighting with Apu. No, him and Apu teamed up to fight him, and then the other guy who's Whitebeard, the other commander, the Wanos guy, was fighting them too, but they all got beat up pretty bad by him. The other guy actually passed away. Can't think of his name. I need a whole list here, I guess, in front of me. And he's just sitting there listening to the conversation. He's in a hospital bed, so he must have got maybe he got picked up by General Admiral Greenbowl, because Greenbowl came there. He was trying to apprehend the Straw Hats, but he might have been aware of Sword's activities, and then thusly perhaps knew Drake could have been still alive at the in Onigashima. So that's and no other Navy ships arrived there to because Wano's not a well, they were outside. There were a bunch of them outside, but obviously they weren't going to go inside because it's not a government affiliated place. So we briefly see Smoker again in this thing, and this is where Tashigi comes up. He's flying across the ocean on some kind of bike thing, and it just says he's in the new world. And we never see never tells us exactly where Drake is, but we get to see he's in a hospital, maybe at the same place where Kobe and the others are. He shows up right afterward, and that when the panels that they just show him, and he doesn't say anything in it. But then when we show Smoker, and I always say Chopper Smoker because he's riding a chopper. He's riding a. So, anyways, he's so as he's going there, he's contacting Tashigi and checking in on her. So we saw Tashigi went with Garp and the others to rescue Kobe. The Smoker apparently must not been at the base when Garp gathered those other troops to come with him. And he just all we see their conversation is Smoker's checking in where her location is, and she just tells him, "I'm at the hospital." So we just leave that part and we go back to somewhere else. This might be back at Water 7 or somewhere. And Vegapunk's message is going on, and he says, I know I've been very vague at this point about stuff with the Roger Pirates and the Void Century, but I can't add anything further other than speculation. But one of the crowd members like, hey, wait, no, tell us what Roger left behind. But I'm sure Vegapunk doesn't know. I'm trying to think how he would know that they went there. Then didn't Roger leave some messages? He would occasionally leave messages in places. That's right. I bet he found one of those and the poneglyphs. Did he write them on the poneglyphs? Maybe he left them near the location of some poneglyphs. I'll bet that's my only thought on the top of my head, that's how Vegapunk could have realized Roger ended up going to Laughdell. But he wouldn't know anything else. So we switch away from that now back to the Straw Hats on top, who are gathered together, and the Nami is noticing that the barrier is being turned off now by this is Stussy doing it. Wait a minute now. So, and Chopper points out, okay, the clouds too have stopped stretching. But Usopp says, okay, well, that's fine. We have enough now anyways to get out of here. We got to get out. We should be able to reach the sea. And then Lilith just adds in, the only issue is we might land on top of those ships down below. So now we switch to, and then we switch to Brooke, and he's down below. That's right, because Frankie's with Frankie and Sanji are still with uh Bonnie and the Kashi and Yogi. What's his name again? Oh shoot, I can't think of his name now. Dory Bragi, Kashi, and I forget his name. Uh, so Brooke is down here now loading up the cola barrels because Frankie and Usopp. Well, yeah, Usopp's up there. He's loading them up and he's informing Nami, and we're all set here, so we're ready to take off at any moment. And Nami's like, okay, we'll take off soon, but we got this. Jinbei's still not here. But then we switch to Jinbei and Zoro, and they're catching up, and they're informing Nami, hey, we're close now, but there's a strange monster ahead of us coming right toward you. And Nami's like, well, don't mess with it. We don't have any more time for detours. But so this is Saint Ethan. He's the only one that's still above at this point. We'll see the other four are elsewhere. But so Jinbei's like, we're not taking any more detours. This is serious, though. He goes on. The monster is actually heading right forward to Sunny. Get ready. And they're like, holy shit, what? And Jinbei goes on like, there's something unusual about his presence. And then he's getting real close there. And so Ethan is here planning on trying to stop the Straw Hats from escaping here. And he comes out with his Holen Kitetsu and getting ready to draw it and right next to the ship. And we can see Nami right there viewing him. And then you see the others as well on the ship, like, oh my god, it's one of the elders. And but Zoro and Jinbei get there just in time, and they both go out to attack him. This is one part I was a little confused on. I don't think Jinbei's attack lands, at least the way I can tell the panel, unless he pushed him back, the elder back. But this great part here is Zoro gets close. He pulls out his two-sword Rashomon, and he gets up right there and blocks Ethan's Kitetsu. Obviously, he must be using Enmon Kitetsu, and he's able to stop the attack right there. Wait, now I gotta pull up this other panel. This is a double page. Right here. So I don't know who says this. Oh, I know, it must be Zoro. So as they're clashing here, Zoro observes that Ethan's holding the Kitetsu the first, and you see a huge amount of Haki. It looks like they're both probably using, because Zoro can use Conquerors as well now, right? Because usually when the armament's going together and then they're using Conquerors, it reinforces it. It's creating the lightning. So we see this panel where Zoro and him break, and Ethan break, and then it looks like Zoro's successful in knocking Ethan away from the Sunny. And Zoro falls back toward where Jinbei is, and Jinbei catches him again. And Zoro does it smart this time. He's not going to try and fight him per se. Once Jinbei catches him, Zoro yells to Nami, start launching the ship. We'll have to jump on. Because he probably knows that Ethan will try and make another attempt before they can launch. So I'm assuming he's preparing to block another attack, but he's not going to, just because just how dangerous he can tell Ethan is. So now we end seeing that half of the Straw Hats, and we go down to the ones on the giant ship, and now they're getting themselves into trouble here. This is where Oda really gets us on the ropes in this chapter. So now with the Pacifistas disabled by Saint Ethan, some of these ships are starting to surround the the giant ship. I keep saying pirate. When I say that, I'm meaning the giant ship. And Bonnie's talking aloud like, where's Straw Hat? Why isn't he here? We have to hurry. We can't hold him back much longer. And we see that one admiral with the glasses. He's coming up and ordering ships, all the men to start getting like they're getting like rocket launchers and stuff out, and they're probably preparing their cannons and like sink that ship. We have to stop them right away because at this point they're really worried about like, making sure Bonnie doesn't escape. And uh and Sanji. Then we see Sanji and Atlas watching out there on the shoreline, and Sanji's trying to use the radio to talk to Luffy, but it's not working. Probably because the Dendenmushis are out. But we see Luffy. We see in the flames where Sanji and Atlas are watching, and Luffy yells out from over there like, "We're here! Get ready to sail! We're coming!" And uh, but as that's happening, the wait, let me get up here again. Omio, that was his name, Kashi Omi. Omio. Uh, and then you see, yeah, Dory and Bragi follow up after Luffy yelling to their subordinates, the lieutenant, saying, "Guys, get the ship ready. We're almost there." Uh, so they're the other pirates on the ship are resuming their fight, and they're trying. A bunch of them are like jumping off the ship and trying to sink some more of the marine ships to protect their ship from being destroyed. And then we get that other guy with the big mouth. He's like, "Don't be afraid of them. Just keep firing. We have to keep them there at no costs." Uh, weird, funny there. I just noticed there's a pirate. He looks like oh shit, what's his name? Shanks. Remember with the in a drumstick. He's swinging a sword around at the Marines, but he's also eating his own drumstick. And so the pirates here, the giant pirates here are being somewhat successful in sinking some of the ships. Some of them are just jumping right in the water, and probably because it's shallow enough for them, they're just standing in the water, I'm assuming, and pulling down all the ships. And so some of the ships are like saying, go. Some of the commanders are pointing out like, "Hey, we gotta fall back and reform, fight them from and like try and fight them from a distance because they're now getting the giants, given their size and their durability, are not afraid to take some hits here as far as cannon fire. Uh, but now we get Bait, Dal, and Bluegrass show up. There are only two other admirals I can remember their names at this point. And Bluegrass is disappointed, and she's like, "You guys are supposed to be, we're members of the Marines. We're paragons of justice. Stand up and fight harder." And she this is I'm upset a little bit at this scene because I'm not mad at the Marines. I'm not having any contempt, anger. Oh, I'm not anger, but not hate toward them. But her and Baby Doll getting some good hits here, and so Bluegrass is still running that draft sea beast, and she commands it to fire its weapon at it, and unfortunately, it punches a hole in the hull of the giant ship. And then Baby Doll goes in, and we get a good shot of what she can do. And so as this one pirate giant is looking over the ship, he's like, "Oh crap! There's a hole. We got a hole in our hull now." Baby Doll jumps up at him, hockeys herself up, her fist, and pummels him with a bunch of punches that she calls rock and roll blaster. So that guy's probably knocked out. Uh, so we start this scene. We just end off that scene with we see that one pirate, the giant, falling in the water there, and then the wait, let me pull it up here. I can see it better here. And then we just see some other people commenting, "Oh, that's Admiral Dahl. She has such ferocity it sends shivers down my spine." Uh, so we continue. The last panel there is just more another officer saying, "Come on, we almost got him. Keep attacking." And so now we switch to Luffy, Dory, and Bragi briefly, and Luffy's back in his normal form again. He looks like he's quit his gear fifth again. He's been going back and forth in that a lot, by the way. I'm surprised he's even still conscious. So he's on which one is that? Dory's face? Yeah, I think it's Dory. He's on the tall one. I forget their name sometimes. He's on them, and he's looking behind as they're still running away from where they were in the middle of the island. And Luffy though comments like, "Hey, I think the how do you call him? The boar isn't chasing us anymore," referring to Top Man. And Dory just says, "Yes, that's great for us. We got to just worry about getting on the ship then." And Braga's like, yeah, it's time we get the hell out of here. And Luffy's like, but where would he go if he's not chasing me? Which is a good question. So now we're getting near the end here, and we find out where they are, and that all the other four elders besides Ethan have regrouped together and ready to gang up on the Iron Giant. It's still just walking across the forested area of the lower area of Egghead. And so yeah, the other two, yeah, who was it? Saturn and Mars were at the top before destroying Denden Mushies, but they must have heard York's message, and now they've regrouped with the other two who are pursuing Luffy. Because their priority right now is that message. They really want to stop any more information from Vega. Vegapunk's message is even more dangerous at this point that they have to regrouping together for that. And Vegapunk's message continues a little bit more. And he's going, I have one last message I need to tell you. And this is for those of you scattered across the world. And that we'll come back to in a second, but when you see the if we start with Mars' perspective, and he looks at the Iron Giant and they realize what it is. Or he does, and it's like, oh, it is that Iron Giant that rampaged through Marie's Wall 200 years ago. Wait, no, what attack is he doing? So I think he starts charging after it. But as that's happening, this is the last bit we're gonna get of Vegapunk's message. And he says, for those of you that carry letter D in your name, among you there is, and as he's doing that, we see a bunch of the other of characters who would have interest in this. We start with like Dragon. We also see Sabo and Kobe, and they both know about Ace and Luffy having a D. And we switch to also Blackbeard and Beppo, Law's friend, and they're all listening in intently at that point. But right as that happened, the Gorosei, where is this now? Here, let me get this panel up. The Gorosei, it looks like it's Top Man actually does it. He charges the at the Iron Giant and knocks it back. I can't tell, is it falling? It looks like it's falling in the air, but then it lands on a shoreline and crushes some of the other Marine ships. And as that happens, it causes the message to cut off. And then we start seeing the reaction of some people watching. Like we see Vivi, Wapol, and Morgans, as well as some other people from one of the other islands. And it's like it just starts seeing the static on the screens. And other people are like, no, it cut out. And wait, and then they say, did the signal get? Oh, that's Vivi saying that. Did Vivi's like, wait, what was he about to say? The signal, what happened? And Morgan's like, D, what's that got to do with that? What does D have to do? I wonder if do they hide the D names for people like Law and Luffy on their wanted posters? Now I gotta check that out. Maybe not, but he would probably, I bet Morgan might be doing some digging about after that. So unfortunately, we end with that. People, it looks like we see Saturn and Mars smiling, but they're still in a beast form, so it's kind of hard to tell. And the last panel, first we see a panel where like we keep hearing, it shows Egghead, and we just seen that static sound. But the last panel is just showing York, but she's kind of zoomed out, so it's hard to tell. But it looks like she's relieved, and she's there catching her breath, and then just says it's over, and the chapter ends right there. So, shit. So we do not know what Vegapunk was about to say. That was probably going to be the most important part. That's the part saying that we have been waiting for it forever, and she just cuts it out right there. So yeah, we're really on the ropes now. It's the only part that's looking like safe at this point is that the Straw Hat on top will be able to escape unless Ethan can get in a successful attack with his sword. And that was my favorite part is now we see Zoro successfully hold back Ethan's attack. And I'm sure Ethan wasn't holding back, but this really is exciting to me to see how strong Zoro's come. He didn't even use 3-sword style. He only had to use Enma and Kitetsu together, and he was able to block an attack and send Ethan off balance at the very least there together. And he recognized the Kitetsu blade. Oh, you know what I think that was? Oh, I got it. Huh? Here's something I didn't understand earlier. Okay, so when Zoro, what Jinbei did earlier is he used his jujitsu attack to launch Zoro. That's what happened. Ethan was so far ahead of them, Zoro wasn't going to be able to get in front of him. So I see now Jinbei picked him up and held him like he like almost like a quarterback would, right? A pit, and he launched him. And that's how Zoro got alongside of Ethan here to stop him from destroying the Sunny. Okay, that was something I should have not missed. So also in this chapter, we don't get to see Stussy or Kaku or Edison. We saw them briefly in the last chapter talking. So there's some back and forth here. We're still seeing some other stuff going on. Also, there was a panel here I forgot to mention right in the beginning between showing Cricket and showing these other pirates talk about searching for lost treasure. They just show another panel of like someplace under the sea, what looks like an old ruins, and they just show a few mermaids passing through there. So that's interesting to think about because it probably means a lot of these mermaids have been down there and seen some of this stuff, but never talk about it with any of the people above the sea. That's something too. Cricket would probably do well if he could like work out a deal with some of those fishermen or mermaids to help him search for stuff down there because they could be a guide. They can, if he could get a good rapport with them. I don't know if any mermaids live in his part of the Grand Line. He was still relatively early in the Grand Line, and from where Sabaody is, that's where the Fishman Island is down below, and maybe where I don't know if some of the others ever come up. They probably rarely do though, because the world nobles frequent there. I have a feeling many of them would avoid there and are warned by their parents and whatnot. Like, don't go up there. That's where you could get caught easily, and you're not coming back if you do. So that's I don't know where Cricket would go then, but uh, and we got to see Kobe there. Yeah, Kobe and the others made it back successfully, so they're doing good. But now let's see, who else was there? Who was those people again? Oh yeah, wasn't it Groose? Prince Groose? No, come on. You really gotta be careful to type in, or sometimes it doesn't know what you're talking about. Let's see. What's her name? Hibari. Okay, Hibari is that other girl's name, right? So she's there. Doesn't look like anyone else really got injured other than Kobe in that fight. No, we see Helmeppo all bandaged up too. That's really it today. So yeah, the Straw Hats. It looks like the others on top are gonna probably be able to escape, but now we got. That's right, Luffy's coming. Hopefully, with Luffy and Dorian Bragi are about to reach the ship, so I have a feeling they're gonna have to deal with Bluegrass and Doll before they can get out of there. And I don't know unless Luffy goes back and tries to help the Iron Giant. He could do that, but my thoughts are they're gonna have to just make sure they get out of there because Bonnie and the others they dealt with the other vice admirals just well, but now these two are coming in and causing problems, and I don't want to have them. I wish these Marines would realize they should be on their side, but they're still got to follow orders and whatnot, so it's not going to turn out that way for now. But yeah. So I'm just going to end the video there. I don't think there's a break next week, so we can hopefully find out what the Iron Giant can do if it can pick itself up and deal with the. Because now the other thing too, though, is now the transmission got stopped. What? Well, the Straw Hat. That's the thing. If they can save the Iron Giant, maybe the transmission will resume somehow. We'll find out just enough to really make the Gorosei have a headache. Uh, what else? What did we miss? Another group we miss. I think that's it then. So definitely Ethan. I mean Edison and Stussy are planning on staying behind. I don't know what Kaku's gonna do. That's saying we haven't seen. We also haven't seen Lucci in a while. So well, Kaku's on top. I bet if Kaku tries to escape, I bet maybe try and get Stussy to go with him. Maybe they'll go and try and join up with the Straw Hats. They're up there with at the same level they are, and they can come. They'll come and join them, and that'll be an interesting thing to see. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's all I got for today. So thanks for watching.